On this day, Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel created the most culture-defining character in fiction, creating the archetype that we all know now. And in 2005, artist Frank Wiley and writer Grant Morrison created All Stars Superman, a character-defining book that has left a generational impact, not just with the character of Superman, not just with DC history, but in the history of comics, period. Now, this is not the first time you're hearing this ever. Saying All Star Superman's is the greatest book of all time is like the equivalent of saying that Sydney Sweeney is hot. Like, wow, crazy take. We all know the book is amazing, but I want to do something different. So, in honor of Superman being created on this very day, April 18th, starting today, I'm going to declare a little thing that we have every now and then called Superman Day, depending if you like it and if I myself still want to do it. Which is just a simple day that I take out of my day to talk about anything Superman related. So I figured we start with my top 7 favorite moments from All-Star Superman. Because I'm sure no one has done that, right? Okay, well, it's not my list, so ha! Starting off the list with number 7 is when Superman took Lois to the Fortress of Solitude for the first time. Now, I have this at the bottom of the list. That doesn't mean it's like my least favorite moment in the book or anything. Far from it. Just to clarify, this comes in the second issue of All-Star after Clark reveals his identity to Lois that he is Superman. And Lois doesn't believe him, saying that Superman is just disguised as Clark, which originally I thought was dumb, because how could you not believe that he is Superman? Like, what? But after hearing other people's takes on All-Star and letting this book simmer with me even more, I realized that this is an established Superman, which means Superman has been around like for a while at this point. And this is the first time Superman is revealing his identity to Lois, one of the people that he cares most about out of anybody. So, of course, why would Lois Lane believe that her dorky coworker is one of the strongest people on the planet? So Superman takes Lois to the fortress, and we get some cute little back and forth moments, like Cal using his house key made from a dwarf star, so he's the only one that could pick it up. And a lot of beautiful visuals of the Fortress of Solitude as depicted in Frank Wiley's artwork. A lot of these visuals are the main inspiration for James Gunn's Superman, as we see with this teaser right here. But Lois sees something sinister. It's even made more suspicious when Cal tells Lois not to go in there. Lois sees Superman in such black and white, thinks that she'll be in some part of fucked up experiment, so she grabs a kryptonite ray and tries to leave the fortress. But after shooting Superman with the ray, it turns out Superman was just tailoring a costume for Lois for her birthday, so she could be Superwoman on her special day. Now, there's way more tension in this scene, way more than I described, actually. And I genuinely thought that Superman will have, like, some horrible, ill-intended plans for Lois Lane. But no, he just wanted to surprise his girlfriend on her birthday. And I love that, honestly. It's the relatability that this book has, but, like, through a grander superhero scale. Like, trying to surprise your significant other on an anniversary or a birthday, but they catch on to what you're doing. Number 6 for me is Superman's arm wrestling match. This comes in a moment from issue 3 when Lois and Superman put powers together and come across Samson and Atlas. Characters long established since 1965. Both of them hit on Lois, obviously, who wouldn't? They dare Superman for a tag team arm wrestling match for Lois Lane. This is a great moment in the book. This is a great moment in the book. Atlas and Samson both get cocky and douchey. Then Superman breaks both their fucking arms and crushes all the mountains around them. It's a really funny moment. It has a cute little ending where Lois falls asleep and Superman just gives her a little peck goodnight and tucks her into bed. That's gotta be a goated birthday. That's all I'll say. Number 5, when Jimmy Olsen became Doomsday. Yes, this happens and it's fucking awesome. Superman gets taken under the influence of black kryptonite, making him hostile. So Superman bats out, second to Krypto. He junks himself with a Doomsday virus and absolutely rocks his shit. Eventually, Superman snaps out of it, of course, and Jimmy goes back to normal. And at the end, Jimmy gets some cheeks because it's Jimmy Olsen. Number 4, the Bizarro arc. After Superman gets sent to the Bizarro world, we get a good look at what the Bizarro world looks like, including all the Bizarro clones' leader, Zebaro. Superman grows weaker as he stays here, so he unites all the Bizarros to build a ship. For him that can send back to Earth. But Zebaro has little faith with these people. He is the only intelligent one out of all of them, and he feels like he's not seen. So unique, so unlike everything else. The way this dude speaks is like pure poetry. Like, oh my god, Grant Morrison, you're on some shit here. Giving the Bizarros orders would be like giving orders to the winds. but it's Superman, so he has to try. This is another pretty good moment for Superman because when he's progressively losing his strength, when he speaks like the Bizarros, even though his brain starts sinking down to their level, he still has faith in them and still has faith in Zabaro because he is much stronger than he thinks he is. Okay, now we're in the top 3. Number 3, this panel from issue 5. This comes in an issue where Lex Luthor is sent to his execution by federal law for all his crimes against humanity. And if you know anything about Lex Luthor, it's a lot. Moments before his execution, though, he is interviewed by Clark Kent. He interviews Lex Luthor as he pushes his physical strength to intimidate Clark. Just with this sequence alone, you get who Lex Luthor is. A petty man filled with so much hatred and xenophobia towards Superman, trying to compensate by pushing his power and strength past the alien from another planet. He even gets so insecure about what Clark is knowing down that he exposes him for having a crush on Lois. Only Reverse Flash is more petty than this dude. There are other great moments with this issue, though, like Lex Luthor escaping prison with Clark with this freaking Grimace-looking dude chasing them. I think the end of the issue is what sells me on in the first place. Because in the beginning of the book, Lex Luthor is the reason Superman is dying, overloading Superman's cells that he gets from the sun. And here, he asks Clark Kent to break the news gently, that he himself is the sole reason that Superman is dying, and if it wasn't for him, Lex Luthor would have taken charge of the whole planet. He has so much pride, pulling from a deep place of hatred, finally getting what he wants, just before he leaves this earth. God, I love this book so much. Number 2, this single panel. This panel speaks volumes. In this issue, we're in Superman's final days. He does some good deeds, just to make sure everyone's okay. To big things, to even small things. Everyone has their favorite image with this book, either a scene from the Forest of Solitude, or like that scene with Lex Luthor I mentioned, or any other moment I talked about in this video. This one is my personal favorite. It takes place where this young girl nearly takes her own life, but Superman shows up behind her. And I'm going to do a voiceover with with what Superman says here. Your doctor really did get held up, Regan. It's never as bad as it seems. You're much stronger than you think you are. Trust me.
I don't really like drugs.
This book came out in 2011. And social issues like this that are relevant today. To some, this might be seen as insensitive, literally having Superman show up in a scene depicted something serious. But even Grant Morrison knew that kids in their adolescence go through stuff like this every day and isn't glorifying it. I have had friends that have been in dark places like this. And it's moments like this where, despite Superman being a Superman, he still has time for you. That's why I love this panel, and that's why I love Superman so much. Now, my number 1 most favorite moment in this book ever is Superman spending his final moments with his father. Now, this issue resonates with me on a very personal level. I think more than my number 2 spot, actually. I could interchange either or, and I'd be happy with either. Those two moments are my favorite out of this whole book, despite what I think of them. In this issue, we follow a young Clark Kent, meeting with his Superman relatives from the future. Cal Kent, I'm not even going to pronounce this, and an unknown Superman wrapped in bandages are from the Superman Squad. Suddenly, a monster called the Chronivore ages everything that comes near, so the Superman Squad go out to stop it. Young Clark gets cocky, brash, and arrogant, and joins the fight. Meanwhile, the bandaged Superman has a chat with Pa Kent. He'll be okay, won't he? The boy? It all comes right at the end. Back with the Superman Squad, Cal Kent tries to get Superman out of the fight, Clark not knowing that he'll lose 3 minutes of his life. Missing the moment where his father suffers a fatal heart attack. Young Clark mourning his terrible loss. Meanwhile, we see the Superman Squad. The bandaged Superman reveals himself to be the present-day Clark that we've been following, as he went back in time with his relatives so that he could see his father one last time before he will eventually leave this world forever. Now, I stated before, I've had a personal connection with this issue. Long before I even read this book, I was going to go out of state for a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean forever, basically. I'm not going to go into details because it's a personal thing. But long story short, I'm no longer out of state. That whole thing changed. But before then, and before I left, I spent my final weeks with my father, as he couldn't go with me to where I was going. It was a bittersweet goodbye. He thought I would be alright, and he'd be happy with the man I'd become in that very moment right there. He was there for all my life, heard about a bad girlfriend I had, or all the scumbag friends that I ever had, and he thrived out of the things that I could tell him. But he had to let go. I had to let go. But at least I got to see my old man for the last time before I left forever. Very much like Superman seeing his father for the last time before he left this earth forever. That was kind of a little sad moment there, sorry about that. But unlike Superman, I fucking came back. Subscribe, bitch. But anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it enough. If you agree that we can continue on with the Superman Day, I'll gladly do that for you. So give me a like, give me a comment, let me know what you think. Subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.